Rob and Akiva need a podcast, and they need your help. Can you make it onto the wheel? Rob and Akiva need a podcast. Yeah, they'll buy or sell your ideas. They'll talk about it till you've gotten your fill.
Every weekend, better attend. You can guess what will be coming up next. Rob and Akiva need a podcast. Yes. Happy Life Day, everybody. The Rob and Akiva holiday special is here by popular demand. You voted People's Choice, and it was a runaway smash hit that you wanted to hear. Rob and Akiva talk about the Star Wars holiday special. And now here's the man who's chuffed to bits to talk about Star Wars here today. It's not nerdy. Here he is, Mr. Akiva Wienerkur.
Yeah, nothing nerdy going on today. I'm very excited for several reasons, Rob. First of all, we've talked about this for a while. This is the RHAP-bot's idea. My kids were asking why I was watching what they call the terrible movie about gorillas, because they're not familiar with Star Wars at all.
Yep.
And I tried to, and instead of just saying well, I have to watch it for the podcast, I tried explaining, there's this robot that basically tweets out things about my podcast. Like this week he said, Rob and Akiva are blankets, and we rank all the blankets or something like that. They thought that was funny. Mm-hmm. And I got into explaining, immediately regretting even explaining to a child, why we're watching this week. Mm-hmm. But I am fired up. Almost 2,000 people voted, and over half of them voted in our poll to see this. I think the Liana Lunatics, that's the name for a fan base, really stuffed the ballot box. And maybe I didn't.
Leanimals.
Leanimals is much better.
That's good.
Yeah. And I think I maybe picked the wrong thing to go against it, but really it was just to give it a tough competition and see if it could come out. Of course, I wanted to talk about this Star Wars movie this week. Everyone knows that, and now I'm excited we did, because it's one of the finest films ever made, even though it's a TV special.
All right. Here is the woman that was promised to be here to deliver her signature catchphrase at some point. Of course, you know her from many RHAP-ups, RuPaul's Drag Race, the B&B, and many Masked Singer, many others. Here she is, the great Liana Boraas. Liana, how are you?
Doing well, Rob. Thank you so much. This idea, not only did it beat out in the People's Choice, the two other options, it beat smash hits like Shrek the Musical, and I Can't Believe It's Chester's Charts to be here to win the bracket. So, really, this idea has been through the ringer, and I'm so happy to talk about it today.
And so we're recording this on video here today. You can watch this on the Robin's Podcast YouTube channel if you want to see. I think there will be some visual things that we will talk about. But Liana, you reminded me of something I forgot to talk about on last week's podcast, if I may, because I told a story a couple of weeks ago about how I made a trip to the post office to go and pick something up as we bring Uncle Kiwi back into the stream. So I got a call from the post office that they were very upset. I had too many packages piled up, and I went there to a bittersweet surprise of a lifetime supply of Laffy Taffy. So I recently had my stuff picked up from the post office. Derek, who works here at Rob's Podcast, and he went to go pick up the stuff that had been piling up, and he came back with a big box, and it was a Walmart box. And I said, okay, well, maybe this is Nicole's Secret Santa gift. What could have shown up at the post office for me? And I opened it up. And I have to say, I was not chuffed to bits when I received something that I have to feel was RHAP inspired. And so I have been sent here. I'm holding this up on the video. This is some sort of a Shrek cookie jar, which not only.
Ooh, Shrek, did you do that? Man, you gotta warn somebody before you just crack one off. My mouth was open and everything. Believe me, donkey, if it was me, you'd be dead.
Okay. I think it's the same thing every time.
Yes.
Uh,
You want to hold her? Yes. Please. Yes. Then you got to try a little tenderness. The kids love that romantic crap.
There was no note, no return address, other than that this was from some sort of a store, some sort of a gift shop, novelty shop, antiques type store. That this was sent to me from someone.
Got to be Shut Up Tim, right?
Anonymously.
Shrek Stan, famously.
There's only one man who would dare give me the Shrek and Donkey. That has to be Shut Up Tim, no?
Is this the speaker on his forehead?
The speaker
What is that
coming
thing on
out
his
the arm. This
What's
is
the
it
thing on
says lift.
oh, so that you can find the cookies inside. Yeah.
Wait,
Okay,
what is this
great.
for people on a diet where it's like, oh, I think I'm gonna get a cookie. Let me just like alert the whole house.
I like you. What's your name?
Like, hey, is somebody getting a cookie?
Yeah, it is terrible. That is bad for diets. Also, you open up a cookie jar and it starts doing a bit about farting immediately.
Mhm. Not good.
So loud. I don't. It's like it's blaring in my face. I don't even know what it's talking about.
I mean, that's the inspiration for Shrek the musical. Get that on over to Jason Curtis Rivera and start whipping something up for you.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, thanks for whoever sent that to me.
Whomever that person may be.
Please don't make this a thing of start sending me junk that I said when we were talking with Dr. Amanda Rabinowitz that my dream is that somebody breaks into my house and takes all the stuff.
Except this. What if they stole everything but the Shrek cookie jar?
I don't want
They left you with cookies.
any
Their
more
calling
junk.
card.
Please.
I like the idea that you paid someone to go to the post office to pick that up also. Like something you desperately do not want. Also, did we get any letters? People said that they were going to send in letters.
What? There is one, and maybe when we break for the mailbag, remind me. I think I can go and bring it in. We did have a letter, a written submission for the mailbag.
I also like to think that the post office knew what was in the package, which is also part of the reason why they told you to come get all your packages. Like, we have this creepy Shrek thing that won't stop making noise. Please come get this.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Star Wars holiday special. We have to get into that. Of course, Akiva. Last time out on Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast, another winner, right? With Chappelle talking about family matters.
People really like that. They liked how into it we were. Sometimes
you were very on fire with talking about Urkel.
It's really why I wanted to put shows like Family Matter in the fishbowl, and maybe we should have shows that one of us are particularly passionate about. Like maybe that's a good route to go going forward. Like if one of us has extra level knowledge on it, maybe it yields something. But yeah, Chappelle's obviously always a home run, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Can I say this is a first also, Rob? We are doing a podcast with someone wearing a RHAP shirt.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Well, Liana is the queen of RHAP merchandise. She
That's
has
right.
hat.
She might have the only two pieces.
Yes. She's wearing the new a few ping pong balls short of a fishbowl. The Corey B catchphrase, which was turned into design by the great Liv H. A few other RHAP items are at robhasawebsite.com/shop, including the RHAP Seinfeld logo, the wheel, and I don't know, it's sort of like a RHAP adjacent, the brand new
Seeds, baby.
Yeah,
we'll take credit for it.
We helped bring it to the forefront. It's a Jordan Kalish original. That,
it did originate on Puya's stream also, but we appropriated it.
Yes, yeah. So we're all borrowing the seeds, baby. Mining the genius of Jordan Kalish. Okay,
Rob did not let me put a plenty of money shirt in the store. Also, if people were scoring at home, he said, "Who would want that?" Liana, would you wear a plenty of money shirt?
Depends on what it looks like. Depends on
what did I shoot?
design.
I shot down the concept, or I shot down the design.
No design. I don't think anybody got to design it. You weren't feeling it. Why? And I don't think we have a Forget the Mustard, It's Karate Time design yet.
Yeah,
right?
That's the next one. That's
that one comes first, I think.
Okay. All right.
I would wear a shirt that said plenty of money.
Star Wars
course you
Holiday
would.
Special. Okay. Any anything that we want to say to sort of set the stage for what this is?
Well, can I set the stage?
What
Yeah.
is-
I was getting on video before we started because I haven't done a video podcast in many months. I think the last one was maybe the infamous Game Night 2. Is that possible? The last time I was on video for this podcast. But you mentioned it, so I went and put on a shirt and got ready. And then I messaged Liana and I said, hey, can you tell Rob I'm backstage in the StreamYard when I come back? And I see this now. She just wrote, "What's in it for me?"
ABH, always be hustling.
Yeah.
I had to Venmo her $5 just to get that message across.
Yeah. I still like the part of the story where Akiva had to put on a shirt to do the podcast.
Yes. Well, I mean, I was wearing like my rattiest shirt. You know why? Because it's cold in my house. So my long sleeve t-shirts, I don't think about them 11 months a year when it's not cold. And
Yeah.
so it was like a stained like Football Night in America shirt that I got for free. So I'm like, I'm not going to come with a stained shirt. So I just put on.
If it's any consolation, you are in like almost like Home Improvement Wilson mode in that we see like only your eyes for a lot of this.
Well, if I talk into the mic, it's not like super on camera. I'll play along as we, I'll get it figured out by the end.
Yeah.
Nobody's here to look at me.
Okay, good. Well, we have the video up because we're going to be cutting to some things. We'll be playing some clips from the Star Wars Holiday Special, which was submitted to us by the RHAP bot. It ended up winning the tournament when Dr. Amanda Rabinowitz came on, not in her last appearance, but her previous appearance, which was where we did what Rob and Akiva Need a Verdict, I believe, was the podcast. And she came on Mailbag. We did all RHAP bot. Mailbag, and now here it is, wheel jammed to some degree, winner of a People's Choice Award, the 1978 CBS special, the Star Wars Holiday Special is here. That the movie that has been disavowed by the Star Wars franchise.
Not part of the canon. Attempt to have been buried. Really, like you can only find bootleg copies. Never been re-released.
Yeah,
Disney's
watch
not
it on
buying up this
YouTube.
one. Yes,
Especially the one that we watched on YouTube is called Star Wars Holiday Special, the 1978. Nice copy.
Got to get the nice copy in there because there are lower quality versions. You want to see this in all its glory.
In all its glory. Now, interestingly, there was a brand new Star Wars Holiday Special that was released by Disney, which was the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. Did either of you get a chance to see that one?
You're asking me?
No.
Yeah.
I saved it for this.
Yes. Okay. So the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special actually was I thought was pretty cute. I watched it with my kids. My boys have watched it a couple of times. Definitely I think was a bigger hit with the fans than this one, where there are still elements of Life Day incorporated into the Disney Plus one. If you haven't had a chance to look at that one, that I think is very fun. The new Lego Disney Star Wars Holiday Special. But let's take a deep dive into the 1977 edition of the Star Wars Holiday. I'm sorry, 1978 edition of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Just to give you some background on this, Star Wars, the biggest movie hit of 1977. The Empire Strikes Back would not hit theaters until 1980. A lot of other movie studios are sort of coming in, riding in on the coattails of Star Wars, getting out sci-fi movies. George Lucas feeling like, oh, we gotta keep the fire hot, gotta keep people wanting more Star Wars, agrees to a Star Wars CBS TV special for the holidays of 1978. This would become a 2-hour variety special. So many advertisers wanted to be a part of this that they ended up going to 2 hours for this Star Wars Holiday Special. And it is infamous for just how terrible it is. George Lucas has said famously that if he had the time, he would get a sledgehammer and destroy every single copy of this. George Lucas does not put his name on the Star Wars Holiday Special because he does not want to be associated with it. Akiva, could you ever imagine that we did a podcast so bad that we would have to take our name off it?
That would be funny. Like if one episode was is it pseudonyms? Or are we blaming like Navi and Zach, like our third and fifth wheels? Like Liana's on a lot. I don't know. Maybe we'll just throw her under the bus. I don't know. But maybe we should do that. Can you go back in the archives and the final 4 minutes episode just be like, two rogue guests put something together and don't mention our names.
Need a podcast.
Mhm.
Final 4. Okay. Liana, had you ever seen this before? Had you heard about it?
So I am a big the Skywalker saga fan,
Yes.
especially the OG 3 movies as well as the prequels, because the prequels came out when I was in like middle school, high school. They were very formative to me, especially Hayden Christensen's bad acting. So huge fan of Star Wars. I always had plans to watch the Star Wars holiday special with friends or family, but it just never came to fruition. And I think the universe knew, Liana, you have to save this experience for one day when you are on Rob and Akiva Need a podcast.
Yes. Liana, that you had told me an anecdote recently about some of your Star Wars backstory.
Yeah. So,
Prequel.
So Robin asked me, hey, did you just get roped into this because of the RHAP bot? Are you actually a Star Wars fan? And, huge Star Wars fan. My friends and I, when I was in high school, remade a Star Wars episode 4. Like we had watched it and then just taken notes on major plot points. And then we went and refilmed it. So I played Luke Skywalker, obviously. And then we went through and essentially just tried to tackle everything that we thought was important. We left out some major plot points. We made all of the props. So I made a Chewbacca out of a lacrosse stick and one of those fake sheepskin things you get from IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
For C-3PO, I took one of those wooden mannequins, covered him with foil, and then held him close to the camera. So based on perspective, it looked like he was there. So yeah, total.
What about Darth Vader?
Darth Vader was a friend of mine, and we just made this like big black helmet, very similar to Spaceballs, and went with it that way. It was garbage. It was absolute garbage.
Online?
No, I don't think so. Thank goodness.
You found all the copies and smashed them with a sledgehammer.
Much like George Lucas, when we came to
Liana
our
holiday
senses,
special,
disavowed this our recreation of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what I did also with the Scorned. That I had to destroy all the copies with a sledgehammer to make sure that they cannot be seen ever again. But here we are, the Star Wars holiday special. Akiva, famously, you had never seen a Star Wars movie, felt like that was not your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a podcast. It was pretty early on. I feel like it was in the teens of Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast, where I explained the plot of the 3 original, or the episodes 4, 5, 6, the original trilogy of Star Wars. So I feel like you have a working knowledge from that. But I think that everybody's dying to know, what was your reception to the Star Wars holiday special?
Yeah, I think that is a good point, that this is the first piece of Star Wars content I've ever watched. I think that is correct. I've never seen more than a minute or 2 of any of the 9 or 10 films.
Mm-hmm.
I only know the names of the characters because you did explain them to me on a podcast, because I was very confused. The difference between Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, I never realized there was sort of like 2 good guys. I still don't really know who's who. I think maybe Luke Skywalker's not in this movie, really.
I mean,
he is in the Star Wars holiday special. Yeah.
Or I don't know. But Harrison Ford's Han Solo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I really have a very, very limited understanding of this movie. It is very centered around Chewbacca and his family.
Yes.
Which I don't think most of the movies are. So my kids who are watching a lot of it with me were wondering why, like, who are these gorillas and like, why are they important? And I just couldn't answer any of their questions. Like we're going to the least important sort of piece of Star Wars culture that you're saying it's not even in the canon. And like, this is my introduction into it. So I know it can only get better.
Yeah.
It's funny because my daughter was watching in the background, the queen of the class, and she said, like, are you ever going to watch Star Wars with me, like the real one? And I'm like, oh no, am I going to have to actually sit down and watch Star Wars now? But my family also watched Home Alone 5, the straight to DVD Home Alone from 2014 recently. So I might just be able to keep showing them that and avoid watching Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Liana, what was your opinion of watching the Star Wars holiday special?
I knew it was bad. I didn't realize it was this bad.
Me neither. Did not know.
It was worse than I could have imagined.
It
was shocked.
and that's why I loved it.
Yeah.
I love this whole experience.
And also the other part I loved was knowing that Akiva had to watch this also.
Yes.
So that on
Yes.
top of it really just made for a perfect viewing experience.
So Akiva, how
Yes.
did you get through this?
Okay, so the first 10 minutes after the brief introduction, there's no talking, right? It's just like
That's
the
right.
Wookiees. Am I
Yeah.
using the
Yeah.
preferred
Yes,
nomenclature?
that's right.
Like
Mhm.
at home doing very boring things. And I thought like, oh, maybe my copy is missing subtitles because they're speaking in, I don't know, Klingon or whatever they speak on in the, and like,
Wookiee, yeah.
they're speaking Wookiee. Are there people who can speak Wookiee? Like, is that a language people are familiar with?
So
Like the
nobody else
real-
ever dares speak Wookiee, but it seems like that Han Solo is able to understand Wookiee.
Mhm. Okay.
Well, in this, Luke was also able to understand some Wookiee as well. So
Yeah, it seems like some people speak it, but they can't say it. Or they
But
can
it's also-
understand it, they can't
Understand it.
speak it. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very annoying sounding, like they're just screeching and it's nonsense. So
Yeah.
that's the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yep.
So I'm already completely out. You know what I mean? They like at this point, like I figure there's no way I'm gonna understand it. So I have to open up at this point the Wikipedia just to follow along for the rest of
Yeah.
the movie with like what's
Yeah.
happening. And that was very helpful.
Yeah. So for people who have not watched this, that it is not the pacing and the style of a Star Wars movie that you might be used to. That this is basically if you tried to do a Star Wars theme to a 70s style variety show. And that I have to imagine that a lot of the people involved with the production of Star Wars, the holiday special, Liana, were heavily on different drugs.
So first of all, that's a great description, and second of all, I have to believe that as well. I mean, I was
I
just
think it's even
trying
been
to-
factually stated that many of the people that were involved with this were on various narcotics.
I mean, I think that's the thing is that I was trying to figure out which segments were which. So, like, you know, was the Jefferson Starship the mushrooms version of this? Like, which one was the LSD? You know, because this was inspired, I think, by something beyond human nature.
And while I was not on any narcotics when I watched this, that I really was thankful that I wasn't, because I feel like that I would have really freaked out, I think, at various points, Akiva. I could not believe what I was watching.
Yeah, just reading into like researching the history of this show, like it is very clear that not only did George Lucas sort of remove himself from making it, from the after effects of it. It seems like everyone just passed it off and like nobody even really knows who made it. It was just like, nah, it wasn't me. And like it was just a bunch of like TV people and we're not quite sure who did this. But it feels very cheap. They also said like they were so busy promoting the movie that they ran out of time to film it. And so like they threw it together much quicker than they needed to. They clearly did not spend a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of the actors.
They did spend a lot of money. I think that the budget on this was like $1 million.
I mean, what was the
What
budget
did
on
they
the
spend
movie
it
though?
on?
I mean, a lot of first off that the set and I did a lot of research on this after I watched it also. So the Chewbacca family set, they built like this 360-degree set to be able to film the Chewbacca house, which actually turned out to be very impractical for filming a TV show, because that is not the way you would build a set for a TV show. You sort of like need to have like a fourth wall. So there were a lot of problems in the production of it. And then just like all of the, days of costuming and, they're like having all these people, like the scene in the cantina, everybody's wearing all these costumes. Like this actually was like a very expensive experiment, but I think they felt like that they had the money based on the success of the show and based on all of the interest from sponsors that they had in being a part of the hot Star Wars franchise.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. There were so many different vignettes, right? So like you had to have, and there was a lot of animation and a lot of special features as well. So I'm sure that adds into the budget.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go through it and let's talk. Let's talk about this a little bit. See how far that we can get. So the Star Wars Holiday Special, that we have our returning favorites from Star Wars, and let me just play for you a little bit of. There's like an opening credits for this show. Let's play a little bit of this so you can get a sense of what we're looking at.
Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. R2-D2 as R2-D2.
First off, that's messed up that there's a guy in the R2-D2 garbage can. He doesn't get billing in this. That's not right. Don't give me R2. Why? I don't know why R2-D2 is the only person that's R2-D2 as R2-D2.
Yeah, C-3PO got credits, right?
Every other person.
Maybe he was too embarrassed to be part of this also.
No,
He
he recently died. I think the guy's name is Kenny Baker, I think, is the guy.
Maybe because they don't speak, like
maybe
they're
they
not
didn't get the real guy. Maybe if they didn't want to call attention to it,
because they're not in the credits at all. They're not in the credits.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But then let's meet some. We're gonna introduce some cast members here.
And James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader.
Okay.
Introducing Chewbacca's family. His wife, Mala. His father, Itchy. His son, Lumpy.
Lumpy is really the star of the show.
Yeah.
Breakout star of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah.
Chewbacca's son, Lumpy.
Have Itchy or Lumpy or Mala ever been referenced again? Never.
Never.
So does Chewbacca have a different family in the movies, or you don't know about it?
Canon, and they do not ever make reference to Chewbacca's family in any of the other Star Wars films. I'm not sure if any of the books ever reference it, but this is it. So I don't know if this is, believe it or not, if this is canon, that Chewbacca is happily married with a son named Lumpy and a dad who lives at his home named Itchy.
So when I was watching, I was like, okay, like Mala, okay, sure, that name makes sense. I'm sorry, did they just say Itchy? And then when we get to Lumpy, it was like, really? Lumpy?
Mm-hmm.
That seems like an insult. You're really not setting your kid up for success if you're going to call them Lumpy.
Yeah, Akiva, Chewbacca leaves a kind of messed up family situation that he's out all the time on the Millennium Falcon doing God knows what with Han Solo, and then leaves his wife and baby to just fend for herself with his pervy dad at the house.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. That's a weird setup.
Yeah.
Like, she's there all the time with her baby and her father-in-law. It's a very weird situation.
Yeah.
They seem to be quite close with the shopkeeper, who we'll meet later. So I don't know if that sort of impacts their family situation.
So as Akiva referenced, so we open up on the Chewbacca's home, which is just a painting. Does not look realistic at all. It's like a cartoon house, but okay. This is Chewbacca's home, and we have about 10 to 15 minutes of just the Chewbacca family going through their morning routine. Liana, I can't even really tell you what is happening during this part, where I'm not sure if Mom wants him to eat the stuff that's on the table or don't eat the stuff that's on the table.
I think don't eat the stuff that's on the table, because Lumpy goes for the tiny bananas on the table and immediately gets, reprimanded for that. The only thing I noticed is there were a lot of dishes being done.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only plot point that I think I learned was that Mala misses Chewie because she was holding sort of a shadow box picture of him.
Yeah, they
10 minutes. That's all I got.
Picture of Chewbacca. Chewbacca is out doing stuff with the Empire while Dad just walks around the house, and Lumpy is running around. At one point, Lumpy attempts some sort of a death-defying balance beam walk.
Yeah, he walks on the so their house is basically sort of a space log cabin. Is that fair to describe?
Yeah.
It like that?
Yeah.
And so he walks outside on the on the balcony. Although I don't know, do Wookiees have powers? Will he die if he falls? I don't know anything about them.
Die.
Yeah,
I
think
like it's a couple.
Do they have any powers? What are Wookiees?
They're very, very strong.
That's it. Their powers being very strong.
Very strong. I think they live to be 200 years old, but yeah,
that's a good power.
Yeah. So very, very strong, very hairy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, that's not really a power, but that is an attribute they have. That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless it's like they have so much hair, if you shoot them, the bullet just gets lost in the hair.
No, I don't think so. So
Okay.
we have the first of our like variety show segments happens when Lumpy turns on, in the original Star Wars film, there's like some sort of like holographic chess set where Chewbacca is playing the chess against R2-D2, and the little animated things are like fighting each other, and then famously C-3PO tells R2-D2 to let the Wookiee win. Well, they have some sort of a in-house entertainment system where Lumpy is able to dial something up, and Liana, he watches some sort of like holographic acrobat Cirque du Soleil show.
Yeah, these like gymnasts, this sort of gymnast routine. So yeah, holograms are something that's canon in the Star Wars universe. And
Yep.
so this is just sort of the at-home entertainment version. I think the weird part was that at one point the, I don't know, ringleader, whatever you would call the leader of the acrobats, becomes much larger and outside of the little table. So that was very odd. This whole thing was very odd.
This whole thing is not only very odd, but it goes on forever. Seemingly 8 minutes.
I think that like this and the lady singing, the purple lady singing, are really they must have had an hour of content, and then they sold like so many advertisements to like Ford and whatever that they stretched it to an hour. By the way, we were told, and no, I don't think any of us did this. I got an email late in the week from a listener that said we should be watching this with the original commercials that would add to it.
Yes, that was not the version that I watched, but I have no doubt. But I just want to play a little bit of this because the music just cracks me up on of this. This is what you're watching for 8 minutes.
So bad, I just tried to fast forward through it, and it's on Rob's computer that he's screen sharing.
Okay, this is no payoff to this whatsoever. This is not a plot point. You are just watching various acts. It's like you are at some like terrible music festival, and just like, all right, this thing is on now. All right,
yeah,
we're here.
The Wish version of Cirque du Soleil, but like the knockoff.
Well, can I say that the Star Wars Holiday Special, people could laugh at it, but I felt seen because I felt like that the Star Wars Holiday Special, I could relate so much to life in 2020 is the Star Wars Holiday Special. You are trapped in your home. You are just on a million Zoom calls, which they will go through, just calling people, being on a video conference. You are looking for entertainment. You're just watching videos nonstop. And ultimately, you just want to get back to see your loved ones. That's it.
Anything qualifies as entertainment. You're willing to sit through anything.
Yeah, there's a point when during the animated series where Luke and Han Solo have a mysterious illness and Boba Fett needs to travel to find some vaccine to help bring them back to life.
Yeah, a little eerie.
Yeah, the sleeping virus, I believe, is what it was called. So that was also very appropriate for 2020.
At some point, like there's a lockdown at the bar. They have to shut down, make all the people leave.
Go home. Yeah, curfew.
Go home. Yeah, they sing a song like, look, it wasn't our fault. We want to stay open. They're making us close.
There's so many there's so many scenes that should be 3 minutes that are stretched into like 20 minutes, where it feels like 20 minutes, including the bar scene you mentioned where it takes everyone so long to leave the bar and B. Arthur is singing a song. That's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Like these early scenes. And also, like, I know the IP is so valuable that people are watching this and they're so excited. But if this was anything other than Star Wars in the title, every single person, 100% of the viewers would have shut it off after the first 20 minutes. Because it does get better, but the beginning is so, like, interminably boring that it's almost shocking.
So, Chewbacca's wife, Mala, which I feel like that, Akiva, I feel like you and Chewbacca, your wives have similar names.
Yeah, very similar. And we have a name Mitchie. Yeah.
So, does your wife walk around with a picture of you? Like, where's Akiva?
Like, if you see this man, please report back.
Yeah, she's like Zoom calling people. Like, Mala is going to Zoom call Luke Skywalker who now, okay, Akiva, you don't know who this person is, but Liana, he looks so bizarre in this that I don't. Is he wearing like a ton of makeup here? What is going on with Luke Skywalker?
It's a ton of makeup. He's got eyeliner on, which I don't think was part of his original character. Like Tatooine, not really known for all of the eyeliner.
Yes, and the actor Mark Hamill, I know he gets in a car accident. I'm not sure if it's after the first film or before the first film, but so I think they're trying to cover a lot of that up. But he looks so odd. He looks plastic.
He does. He looks like a Ken Barbie.
Yeah, he has like a weird haircut that Luke Skywalker never ever has. I don't know if he like went Hollywood or what.
Well, no, because if this is 2020, he couldn't get to the barber, right? Because it's all locked down.
He cut his own hair and was watching some makeup tutorials.
Like it.
Yeah. So that he calls Chewbacca. There's also Chewbacca is in the Millennium Falcon that they can't get home, but it's also just like repurposed shots that were from the original Star Wars movie of just like they just cut scenes out of like the first Star Wars movie and just use them here again of Chewbacca and Han Solo flying around in the Millennium Falcon. And they're trying to get back to get Chewbacca home for Life Day. So we end up getting into Liana. You mentioned the subplot about this guy who is he works at like the junk store. Basically, he works like in the real life store that has like the Shrek cookie jars that has just like useless junk that he is selling to people. Stop it. Stop. I didn't even open it. I said it set off. Okay. Liana, is this guy ops or is he a good guy?
Honestly, I have no idea. He acts super sketchy when the Imperial soldiers come by, which makes me feel like maybe he's on the good guy team. Oh, you know what? At one point, I think when he was on the phone with Leia, when he was in the Zoom call with Leia, he says, "Yes, I'm part of the rebellion," perhaps.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if he was faking it or not. But anyway, this is Art Carney, famous for being the next door neighbor on The Honeymooners. Famously, Ed Norton is the character's name. And Akiva, any thoughts on this guy?
Well, I honestly thought that he was like a main Star Wars character. I didn't realize this guy he's so crucial. And he is a good guy, right? At the end, he sort of like clears them by saying, because they kill what's his name? Han Solo kills can I spoil the end here?
Yes.
A stormtrooper, like a random stormtrooper. And so they don't find him. They say like, oh, he robbed us and took off. So he is, I think, ultimately
he ultimately ends up being a good guy. But he's talking to this guy from the Empire, and I thought he was saying like basically like he was going to do something nefarious, but I guess not. He is going to bring a ton of junk to Chewbacca's house. I don't know if he's sort of like a de facto Santa Claus here, where he is bringing stuff around to give to Chewbacca's family presents on Life Day, but we'll come back. He shows back up later on. Okay. Then we get this scene with Darth Vader walking around. Liana, this was a scene that was left over on the cutting room floor from Star Wars A New Hope, and they just put it in here in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
This was not even 30 seconds, I don't think. Just whatever was left. They maybe had poor James Earl Jones, by the way, because isn't he not credited in the original Star Wars as Vader's voice? And I think this is the first time he gets credited.
He's credited here. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I guess this is part of the plot.
Yeah.
They're looking for the rebels. I mean, but we know that sort of in general. This is after the Death Star explodes, so consistent.
Yeah. So we see that. Then we go to commercial. We come out of that, and then we get a very extended sequence of Akiva. People say that oh, Rob, you don't like talking about food. Well, watch Chewbacca's wife cook a recipe for 10 minutes and see if you like talking about food.
No, I thought you were going to say this made you like talking about food. Like this turn. I mean, do we know what they're making? I wasn't really paying attention to what.
Yes, I
what
believe
they're
she's
making. What is
making
it?
some piece of bantha, which is sort of like a woolly mammoth that the Tusken Raiders ride around on.
Is there a popular food in the Star Wars world? Like, is there like what's pizza in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, they don't eat a lot on Star Wars.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm out.
Green milk, I think, is the closest we get to that.
Really? So there's no interesting. I figured there would be like a lot of foods, and I'm sure there's like books written about what they eat, but you're saying it's not
a lot
mentioned
of like broth and soup.
Like if you go to Star Wars Land in Disney World, there's no like, what are they serving?
You're more likely to get a soup than a sandwich. I don't think that the food is themed on Star Wars.
Well, there's foods are only soups or sandwiches, so I don't know what else you could get.
Well, it's 99% soups in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. There's not a lot of stuff. I was watching one of the Star Wars movies with my kids the other day, and Luke's aunt is like, looks like she's like putting vegetables in a blender. I don't know.
Big
So
juicers.
make
Big
more
juicers.
soup. The big juicers in the Star Wars universe. All right. So you watch Chewbacca's wife. She's trying to prepare dinner, and you're watching sort of like this cooking show, and on the cooking show they're teaching a recipe, and the person on the cooking show is a man dressed like a woman, or is maybe a robot, and has 4 arms, and it's trying to teach this recipe to Chewbacca's wife.
We like to taste the broth, so we'll have a little taste and see how it's coming along. A little bit more so a bit. One gobble, a little puncto, one for the pot. Coming along. Very nice.
Are you not entertained, Akiva?
And that's Harvey Korman, right? Playing the chef.
Is that Carol Burnett show fame?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. They're like, there must have been just like some pitch meeting, Liana, where they're like, all right, who's got ideas to fill some time?
Yeah, you missed. There's the stir, whip, stir segment. You know, like the jolly old cookie. Yeah, this was the Wookiees watch the Food Network segment, which I'm sure was a big hit in the original pitch meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So we are starting to get to a little bit more of some rising tension of Han Solo and Chewie. They can't get home. They're almost like in a different show than the rest of the people for most of this. Then we get an announcement that the Empire has declared martial law, Liana. They're basically like shutting things down for Life Day.
That's right. Too much rebel or nefarious activity going on. We got to shut everything down.
And then also like the invention guy, Art Carney, shows up with presents for Chewbacca and his family, and he's got something special for Itchy. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about this. So Akiva, can you describe the present that Art Carney delivers to Chewbacca's dad, Itchy?
Yeah, so it's sort of like a VR music video. Is that fair?
Yeah, but the device is sort of like if you went to like a hairdresser, like it's sort of like the old school like dryer that they put onto your head. It's like a chair with a helmet on it.
Yeah, probably like if you went for like a CAT scan or something in like 1960. This is what it looked like, probably.
Yeah. Okay. It's almost like if you're going to the electric chair. That's this device.
Yeah. I like the dryer at the hair salon better. I think that's more appropriate.
And he says, "Oh, Itchy, this is perfect for you. You're gonna love this."
You think Itchy is Itchy like a widower? Like where's Mama Chewbacca?
We don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, put this on. We got
Force in Star Wars.
Is there the Force in Star Wars? Yeah.
No, divorce.
Oh, yes. No, they do not say may divorce be with you. That is not something that they talk about. If anybody is divorced, it is not talked about.
Mhm.
Well, I also like when I ask the
Although-
food question
Yeah.
and any question I ask, like, there's good, like, this could be one of the more annoying comments episodes of all time.
Yes, I
The
for
Star
sure.
Wars Know It All will be in the
Yeah,
comment.
Liana, in fairness, are Han Solo and Princess Leia divorced in episode 7 and beyond, or are they just separated?
I think they're just separated. I don't know the legality of, their situation. I don't think we
Mhm.
really get into that.
Yeah.
Maybe another holiday special. as
If
he
the
does.
galaxy only recognizes annulments. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Also, is Life Day a thing outside of this or only in this?
Only in this.
Okay, fine.
Only in this. Okay. It's a little bit of the Festivus of the Star Wars universe. Okay.
Mhm. Is
All right.
there a holiday in Star Wars, Rob? Like besides Life Day? Is
There
a
was
big
like
holiday?
a big parade that they attended in episode 9 on some planet.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and check out. This is what so it's like a kaleidoscope for like 2 minutes of just like a screensaver going on. And then ultimately we're gonna see this happen. This is what Itchy is looking at in virtual reality.
I exist for you. I am in your mind as you create me. Oh, yes. I can feel my creation. I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine? Oh, we are excited, aren't we?
Let's energize, baby. This is okay. So I watched this with my kids last
Yeah,
night,
that's good at all.
and this was like I was legit uncomfy.
Mhm.
My kids were like surprisingly like still on board. That I asked my kids. I asked Dominic. I said, "Do you want to watch the Star Wars holiday special?" Dad, we already saw it. I said, "No, this is an old one. There's another one that's with the real actors." He's like, "Dad, I would love to." And so we put it on, and then we hit this, and things got weird.
Did he watch the whole thing?
He said he is the one that said, "Dad, let's skip this part."
Oh,
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah.
I
I mean,
we just watch it on 2x.
this,
He's like, "Dad, it's that we still have to skip it."
At some point here, one of my kids came in. I think it was Adira, queen of the class, and she said, "I feel bad that you have to watch this."
Mhm. Liana, this whole part is so unsettling. How did this ultimately, and Star Wars Akiva is like the most like family friendly, like
Sure.
Princess Leia wears a bikini at one point. There is nothing sexually suggestive at all in the entire Star Wars universe.
yeah, I was writing down what I thought all the gifts were. And so I was like, oh, the kid got a Lego typewriter, mom gets a
Mhm.
jukebox, and Itchy gets a VR porno ?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, there's also this hallucination. I mean, I don't know if it's a hallucination. I don't know what you want to call it, but there's the fish women dancing as well. And then of course you have this extremely uncomfortable bit, which go back to that pitch room, right? Did this come before or after the Food Network segment in terms of priority of if we have time, we have to fit this in?
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't end here.
Itchy has no other plot point. There's no other characteristic other than he's Chewbacca's dad and he gets a helmet so he can watch a holographic porno with this
Yeah.
woman.
He is totally creepy. Yep.
And not for anything. It's not even like, hey, I'll be in my room. He's middle of the living room with his,
Pretty funny.
with his
Making
son's
noise.
wife right there.
Responding to the video he's watching. Also, the way that the shopkeeper talks about it, this is not the first time. He's like, I got a special one for
Oh,
you this
yeah.
time.
Wait, he knows what he's into.
Yeah.
How many times do you think Chewbacca, when he's home, and Molly, his wife, have had the old conversation of like, all right, when are we putting this guy in a home? Like, how long? You told me he's gonna be here for 2 weeks. It's been 30 years. He's still here. How many times has that conversation happened?
He might be like 300 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, she's trying to poison his soup, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, Itchy, and he watches this whole thing, and it goes on and on. When it turns into like a musical number here, it's very psychedelic. The whole thing.
I give my whole life right now.
A lot of like long transitions, and this goes on for it's a good like 6-7 minutes.
The woman who's singing, Diane Carroll, she was nominated for an Oscar for playing James Earl Jones' wife in a movie. Also, shout out to her, has 4 different husbands or partners with Wikipedia pages, including Sidney Poitier.
Nice.
Okay, look at her. Okay, so I guess divorce does exist in our universe.
That's right.
So then, all right, so Mala is gonna call into Princess Leia, who's hanging out with C-3PO, and Princess Leia is everybody's like working on like some like electric typewriter in this. Everything looks exactly like that. Princess Leia is working on stuff, and they call up and just want to know like what, Chewbacca's not home yet? What? Oh, he should have been there by now.
Because I guess we're not entirely sure. Leia and C-3PO maybe are in a different location than Luke and R2-D2. But we do know that Han Solo is traveling from point A to point B, B being the Wookiee planet. But I guess maybe that means that he started here with Leia.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think that we're just going to get her in there as just like, okay, Carrie Fisher is here. All right. So Chewie and Han Solo, they're still having their difficulties getting through the blockade after martial law has been declared. And now the Empire shows up at Chewbacca's house, and they are asking a lot of questions. Liana, does the Empire know that this is Chewbacca's house, or are they just raiding the homes of all the Wookiees?
I think they're just raiding the homes because that's why they stationed that last stormtrooper there at the very end. Like, oh, the male Wookiee is out of the house. So I guess Itchy didn't classify as the patriarch of the family. And so they have to wait for the male Wookiee unnamed. So I don't think that they know that this is Chewbacca.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is, I guess, some tense moments here where stormtroopers are asking a lot of questions. Art Carney is going to have to do a lot of the talking. So they find one of his devices and they say, "Oh, what is this thing over here?" He's like, "Oh, no, you can't touch that." And he sets it up for one of these Imperial guards. It says, "Okay, fine, I'll put it on for you, but you have to watch this." And we get to a 10-minute Jefferson Starship hologram concert.
At this point, it becomes like SNL, right? It's like, all right, we need the B. Arthur bit. We need the Jefferson Starship thing. We got Art Carney on board. Like, it's just a lot of guest spots and reasons for those guest spots, it seems like.
Yeah, we're really trying to, get from point A to point B. How do we shoehorn these pre-recorded segments into this thing? Here's
how hot is Jefferson Starship, you think, in 1978? Is this their peak? Yeah. Is this their prime?
I'm not sure. Were they did they switch to Jefferson Starship based on the success? I know they were Jefferson Airplane, and then almost like we were talking about, like with Carrot Top becoming Celery Top, did they sort of say like, "Hey, Star Wars is hot. We need to become Jefferson Starship"?
Probably. I think maybe it was this thing was so big that they switched.
Maybe.
I think, didn't they just go to Starship after that? So maybe then that was also after this, they were like, okay, now we have to distance ourselves from this.
maybe. Here's a little bit. Okay. That also, like, I felt like that this was not a great silhouette to have been using here in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh wait, okay, I was confused. I thought this was from Itchy's segment.
This is not from Itchy's video.
You have to watch the video for this one.
Yeah, I don't know, Akiva. Is this intentional? I feel like this is very suggestive.
I mean, I could see George Lucas at this point in the movie just walking out, like breaking something, telling his wife or whatever, like, all right, I've had enough. Like, it's amazing this didn't bring down the whole empire, no pun intended. Like, that they made more movies after this.
Akiva, would you prefer if we got you a microphone like this?
Would it work better? Listen, anything that works, baby. Those were the only mics that, because during the absolute heart of the pandemic, it was impossible to find a podcasting mic. The only mics were phallic shaped mic. Yes.
Okay. All right. So this goes around the whole thing. And then the Imperial Guards are not like, "Sir, what the hell was that? Why did you make us watch this?"
They're like, "Oh, that makes sense."
This 8-minute 70s rock band performance.
One who was sitting in the chair was tapping his finger. He was rocking along. He was like, yeah, this is my jam. It's my top artist on Spotify, baby.
Yeah. And then also Itchy is like I'm sorry, Lumpy is sort of like getting a little worked up. So I could relate very much to this part where it's like, all right, Lumpy is getting out of hand, but give him an iPad. It's time for some screen time for Lumpy. And so they put on a cartoon for Lumpy. He puts on his headphones and he watches a cartoon to occupy Lumpy while the bad people are at his house. But Akiva, it seems as though Lumpy is watching a show which is the animated exploits of his dad and his friends.
Very confusing, right? He's watching a Star Wars cartoon. I think they had the cartoon. They didn't know what to do with it. They input it in this movie, but you're right. It doesn't make sense why the kid would watch a movie that his dad is the hero. Like, in his world, is Chewbacca like a big celebrity? I don't know. And maybe he is. I don't know Star Wars well enough.
I mean, they just blow up the Death Star. They could be really hot right now.
That's true. They could be hot in the
have a
streets,
lot of
but
clout. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's very confusing. I'd also like, is Chewbacca the only Wookiee? Like, are there millions of Wookiees? Or there's like 12
planet of them.
Okay, there's a planet of Wookiees. Got it.
Yeah.
What was exceptionally confusing about this for me was it seemed to start with the fact that Han Solo and Chewbacca were stuck traveling, which is the same situation that they're in the holiday special.
That old story. Yeah.
So I got very confused about whether or not this was just some entertainment cartoon or some sort of weird also hallucination that just fits in within this network. Like, this is when Lumpy put on his Beats by Dre and then just decided to like really focus on the Simon game that was in front of him, and he came up with this in his brain. I don't know.
Akiva, if there was an animated series about your life, would you let your children watch it unsupervised?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I would be very G-rated. Like, they'd just be watching me snore a lot. I don't know. Like, I don't think it would be that. That's asking too much, right? Nobody should make an animated version of RHAP, right?
I mean, I think that would take several years to do.
Yeah. Now, listen, we also thought we wouldn't have a musical and like an audio documentary, but maybe that's what we're going to do in 2021.
But what if it turns out really terrible and we have to take our names off of it like George Lucas?
Okay. Well, listen, we're not making it, so I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, also the animation here is questionable at best,
right,
when it comes to depicting these characters.
Yeah, it's very trippy, the animated characters that we see in the cartoon. Here is
he's on a collision
guy who looks
course.
like Dr. Egghead from Sonic.
Danger from our own forces.
And then
do you copy? This is
You're right,
General. I can't understand what Chewbacca's doing.
That they all look, I think it's the real voices, but they all look so weird.
Yes, and this is after the movie. Like, we know what Mark Hamill looks like. We know what Harrison Ford looks like.
We thought we did.
Well, we thought that's true. That's true.
This is cartoon Mark Hamill actually looks more like the real Mark Hamill than what we see
than the one in this special. He went a little lighter on the foundation. And Boba Fett shows up here. As well.
First appearance of Boba Fett in the Star Wars universe. Of course, Akiva, Boba Fett is very important in the world of the Mandalorian. He will show up in the Empire Strikes Back. Boba Fett, I think, has more of a more of a personality here in the cartoon that he ends up having in the movies.
I know the Boba Fett name. By the way, are you both big Mandalorian people?
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It's a fun show to watch with my kids. Like, I think if I didn't have kids, I don't think I would be as into it. But my boys get really excited. They like the Baby Yoda. So
Yoda's not in this movie, though, right?
No Yoda. No.
Wow.
No Yoda in the Star Wars Holiday Special. Well, the character of Yoda doesn't appear until The Empire Strikes Back, which is still not going to be on for 2 years.
Okay,
that was the same for Boba Fett, but no sneak peek of Yoda in the cartoon. But they watched the whole cartoon. The plot of the cartoon is that Han Solo has gotten some sort of a sleeping sickness, needs to be suspended upside down to stay alive. Then Luke ends up trying to rescue him. He gets the sleeping sickness, and then Chewie and Boba Fett have to go find the medicine. Liana.
Yeah. This was confusing because ultimately we find out, Boba Fett is working for the Empire, yet he goes with Chewbacca to get the medicine, which ultimately fixes Han and Luke. So I'm not entirely
I
sure
didn't
what
really
the
get
purpose was
that.
there.
It seemed like Boba Fett was a good guy through the whole cartoon, and then we find out that he's Darth Vader's right-hand man, which
Right.
is not even really what he turns out to be. And so the whole thing is very confusing.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't quite make any sense because he's already got them tied up because they got the sleeping sickness. Also, I know like Boba Fett. So the logic here is that it's humans will get the sleeping virus. I guess because Boba Fett is a clone of a human, that doesn't count.
Wow, Liana, you're really in the weeds.
I mean, look, it's science, okay? I really want to dig into this one here. But yeah, and then all of a sudden
that's a
it's
good
over.
point. To be fair, neither Han Solo nor Luke Skywalker are humans, which I believe the term humans is of the Earth, correct?
That's true. Yeah, that's
not
true.
like our spiders animals thing. So
this is a long time ago in a galaxy far away. So right,
neither of them are humans, and
yeah.
neither of them are from the same home planet. So I'm not sure exactly why, but maybe Boba Fett's superior genetic DNA makes him immune, or maybe maybe he is wearing a mask. Liana, they gotta remember that too.
Yeah, Fauci was, he followed the guidelines. He knew everything about it. But yeah, and then all of a sudden they find out that apparently Boba Fett has Darth Vader on speed dial and they chat all the time. And then all of a sudden they get rid of Boba Fett somehow and it's over.
Boba Fett is pro-mask. Han Solo, when he wakes up from the sleeping sickness, looks so strange that I wish I could find that to show it to you. It is he looks like he is like a wax figure that has melted.
Yeah, it's
it was not flattering to Harrison Ford at all. Akiva, did you have any thoughts on the cartoon?
I didn't totally get it because I don't know the story. It did feel like, why is this here? This was made for another purpose, and they're sort of putting it in there. But I've read that the cartoon was by far the most well received of anything in the show because it was, I guess, closest to like Star Wars canon and had a lot of the main characters since it's a cartoon and it can have whoever it wants. So people seem to like the cartoon better.
Yeah. Let me see. Here's Han Solo when they wait.
I beg your pardon, sir.
When they get out of the sleeping sickness.
How did you know, Chewie?
He's got his eyes closed.
He never wakes up, Han Solo.
I guess carbonite doesn't happen till later. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the cartoon. Then they come out of the cartoon, and then Lumpy is still misbehaving. So then he gets sent to his room, and then he goes and starts to work on a science project. He's watching like a YouTube video of how to put this other gadget together, and there's like some sort of like malfunctioning robot here, Liana.
Oh, so the humanoid thing that's teaching him how to do the instructions. Yeah, that was weird. I didn't know if it was the video that was glitching out or the robot was glitching out, but the way that the robot reset himself was very weird. It was like he had to pat himself on the butt or flap his arms like he was doing the chicken dance, and for some reason that seemed to work. This whole sequence was very odd.
Yep. Really weird. This is a lot of like if the Star Wars universe had sort of like public access television where there's just a lot of weird things that are being broadcast.
I mean, between this and the cooking segment, right? Like this, and I wasn't sure did he have a copy of this video? Was this video just something? Did it come with the toy? Was it just on public access television? Is apparently he was making a mini translator. I think
is that what he was doing?
I don't know. It just looked like a oscillator, but I don't know. It has no payoff.
So we go to the Mos Eisley Cantina, and I think that also like they're watching this on video somehow, and we are greeted by the return.
Oh wait, so hold on. So this was weird because this all of a sudden started playing in the homes of the Wookiees, and it said that it was required viewing. You must view life on Tatooine so that you appreciate your life.
Okay.
So This is what they chose. Look how bad things are on
Yeah,
Tatooine.
we're gonna
that
see
you
some
appreciate
closed
your life.
circuit television of the Mos
Right.
Eisley Cantina. Akiva, this is a real location that was in the Star Wars film, also known as the Star Wars Bar. And so it was famous for there's a lot
What do
of
they
like
drink in the Star Wars bar?
just like smoky blue stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
And
VIP.
so there's a lot of interesting characters in there, and we are introduced to a barkeep of the Mos Eisley Cantina, not from the film. This is a new character. This is B. Arthur making her second appearance in Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast, and she is the barmaid.
Yep.
Ekmena is her name.
Yep. Yeah, she's the barkeep. I don't even know. I mean, she's got a catchphrase, which seems to confuse one of her patrons.
What's her catchphrase?
What is it? I'll see you later. Something. Come
They
back
say
soon.
in Boston, I'll see you later.
Yeah, come back soon. I'll be waiting. And she serves this random man who's hitting on her, and he drinks his drink through his hair volcano.
Yeah,
that's
so
weird.
okay, so this is I think very very interesting. I'd actually like to talk about this for a little bit. So there's a man who she seems to have some sort of a history with. I'm not sure if it's a romantic history, if he's just hitting on her for the first time. He has a giant open gaping hole in his head where he's able to consume liquid. B. Arthur pours some of the pitcher in there. He also pours a glass into the hole in his head, yet he has a mouth which he uses to speak. Akiva, would you like the idea of a giant open hole in your head in any way?
I mean, it is interesting. Like, I guess you don't have to worry about you getting your teeth like sullied by all this. You could avoid. You could have your pristine teeth if you're just drinking through your head. Are you eating through your head, or is only liquid going through there? Because that's not a big deal.
Could you eat a soup through your head hole? What about oatmeal?
Is this a common way to eat? Is this like the only person in the Star Wars universe who has this, or are there weird things
before?
Okay. Everyone else uses their mouth to eat.
It's weird because Liana, in nature, this is almost like a blowhole, which that from my understanding of animals is more of an output than an input.
Well, it's unclear which biological system this is hooked up to. I mean, I guess it's his gastrointestinal system, right? Versus his respiratory system. My concern would be, I guess you always have to wear a hat, because if you're outside and a bird poops in your little hole, I mean, that would not be very tasty.
Akiva, a yarmulke would, I think, suit him well, right?
Yes, if you had it, maybe that's what it was for. Like, you have a yarmulke, then you take it off to eat, and you just pour the soup into your head hole.
Yeah. I think in a lot of times where I think if you're in a hurry where it's like, boy, let me just like quick pour this in there. But I think it would be hard. Like if I didn't have a funnel, I think it would be hard to hit the hole.
I don't know. It's kind of big.
I think you'd get used to it. I think the first time you did it, you'd mess up. But I'm sure this guy's got years of experience. He can do it at this point without worrying. You can do it lefty by now.
Unless he's got some form of like teeth up there for the mastication part of it, though. I really don't think he can eat. I think it's only drinking, but we don't get a good look,
Yeah, that's the sequel.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to know more about this guy. I feel like that this would be a great podcast guest, Akiva.
Unfortunately, looking through the IMDb and checking out a lot of these people, a lot of especially the older characters, are just no longer with us.
Yeah. I mean,
what this guy's name is? I could see if he's still alive.
I have no idea, but if he is up for it, I would love to. I mean, I have a feeling that he is probably, if he's still with us, probably no longer able to consume solid foods through his mouth anyway. So maybe he might have put some more thought into this. Okay. So B. Arthur is tending bar at the Mos Eisley Cantina. And then there's like an announcement that comes on in the bar of, the Empire has declared martial law. Close all the bars and restaurants.
There's a curfew. Everybody must go home.
Curfew. That's it. That's you have to close, and people are not listening.
They don't care. The people
They are
in the bar.
protesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are not going home. B. Arthur is like, hey, it's not me. I didn't have any say in this. You have to leave. And
Mhm.
so she ends up trying to get her message across in a song.
The best way to communicate
Yeah.
to a bunch of drunk bar patrons.
Yeah. Akiva, is this the origin story of the song Closing Time?
I honestly was thinking a very similar thing. Why doesn't she just play Closing Time? But sadly, it's about 19 years away. I've never seen a singing bartender before, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. You want to hear some of B. Arthur's song?
Please.
Okay, let's see.
Don't you cry. Now it's good night, friend. Good night, friend. Good night, friend. Da, da, da,
I mean, everybody's into it, but they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Don't you?
The bar has like a
martial
whole
law.
horn section in the back.
Well, this is the
yeah.
band, the
Yeah.
famous Cantina band.
Cantina band.
It kind of works though, because once she gets everybody into it, she's able to lead the parade around the bar and then guide them out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that was her long-term game plan here.
Yeah, doesn't want to lose her liquor license from the Empire after they've declared martial law.
And the fines are steep.
The Empire runs a tight ship.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to go back to Chewie's house. And so we get a little bit of like an action scene here where finally, after being gone the whole time, one of the stormtroopers is going to take Lumpy's toy that he's been building and they bring it downstairs. But guess what? Daddy's home. Chewbacca is here and he is going to help save the day, Akiva.
Yeah, well, he breaks Lumpy's toy, right?
I think the stormtrooper does. Yeah.
The stormtrooper does break the toy. That's a little heartbreaking.
Yeah, and then we have this scene where the stormtrooper ends up being outside on the balcony. I guess we saw the establishing shot, and we saw when Lumpy was walking across there, and the stormtrooper ends up going outside and has kind of an unfortunate accident when he tries to tackle Han Solo.
The balcony was weak.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, really, but made out of balsa wood, I think. The thing just falls right over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's the stormtrooper. Let's just see if I could play this scene. Here's the stormtrooper. He's got Chewie and Lumpy at gunpoint. And then Han Solo's, the gun falls on the floor. Han Solo fakes him out. And then he just goes through the railing, and even though Lumpy was walking across it before, he just falls to his.
How did this home pass any sort of inspection? It's crazy. Like this is a danger. Like they need to move out of here.
Very cheap railing.
Did Han Solo do that on purpose, Liana?
Ooh, I mean, the way that he kind of reacts is like, ugh.
Go to the gun, like, hey, I'm going for the gun.
I think he didn't expect the balcony to just collapse like that, because I think he was trying to go for the gun, right, and like make a quick stutter step move, but then balcony had other plans.
Yeah. So Han Solo and Chewie have like a very awkward hug. I also thought, Liana.
Yeah, I said that. The weird Wookiee sexual chemistry between Mala and Chewie. I mean, I don't know. He's been away for so long. There's just a little bit of awkwardness between them. There's some weird setup with some noises that were bizarre. Han Solo notices twice just how big Lumpy has gotten. Han Solo holds Lumpy like a baby at one point, which I thought did not like. I mean, Akiva, that this maybe you don't know this, but I feel like it's a little bit against type. Han Solo, famously not a great dad.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, Lumpy is just so cute. It's one of those like better uncle than you are a dad type things, maybe.
Yeah. Do you think that Han Solo's wallpaper on his phone is Lumpy?
Oh no! Imagine being his kid and finding that. That would be.
I bet that would drive a kid crazy. I bet.
Yeah.
Into a rage. Yeah. So you don't know what he's capable of.
Maybe I should threaten my kids that. Like, if you guys don't behave, I'm changing my wallpaper to one of your nephews or nieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so Han Solo is basically going to leave and tells Chewie, like, hey, be careful. They're going to be looking for that guy. And then the Empire, like, Liana, was this a broadcast to the entire galaxy or just to this house?
I don't know. I mean, it didn't sound specific to them. It felt like it was maybe something more broad, but I'm not
Out to
sure.
the entire galaxy. Let's see.
711. We are unable to reach you on your comm link. Is there a problem?
Yeah.
There's a misdial, a butt dial.
Yeah. And so Art Carney jumps on, and as Akiva said, he says like, "Oh, some guy jumped out. He took my wallet, and he ran for it." I'm like, okay, well, guess that settles that.
Yeah, they believed him.
Yeah.
Like, if this was Among Us, we'd be like, we need more information. But here they're like, okay, no further investigation. We're good.
Not
So
sus. Yeah.
Yeah, he really also hammers home the shopkeeper the importance of identification. Like that really seemed to be a plot point for him.
Comes up a couple times.
Yeah.
So, all right, we get to like the meat of the Life Day celebration, where somehow, like Liana, this is where some orbs come into play.
I thought they were at first maybe just candles or small lights, but they seem to be encased in a snow globe of some sort. And all of a sudden the lights cut and the family, they're all carrying these snow globes. And then they are immediately dressed in these red robes.
Yeah, all of a sudden it gets a little culty.
Yes, I wrote Heaven's Gate in my notes. That was the vibes I was getting here.
Yeah, watch this. So they're gonna start all the Chewbacca, all the Wookiees are now walking through space into the sun through some portal. Yeah, Akiva, this looks like they're sort of like out of that Handmaid's Tale.
A little Handmaid's Tale, very culty. Looks like they're walking to their death. It's very strange.
It's very strange, and we end up with sort of like a big set piece with all of the Star Wars regulars, all the principals from Star Wars, gathered around with all the Wookiees in their long pajamas, gathered together
in their snuggies,
in their big red snuggies for Princess Leia to perform the Life Day anthem.
Not to really dig too deep into the plot holes here, but all of a sudden, Luke, Leia, they're all there. Han says he has to leave, but they're, C-3PO, R2-D2, even though we get the impression that they're on different planets at the beginning, or throughout the special.
So in doing some research into this, so that the principals of Star Wars did not want to be in the Star Wars holiday special. And so Harrison Ford did not want to do a TV show. Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, had to have his arm twisted by George Lucas to do it. And Carrie Fisher did it under one condition. I will do it if I can sing.
That rules.
That's what was in it for her.
That was B. Arthur's deal also. She would only be in it if she could sing.
Yeah. All right. Would you like to hear a little bit of the Life Day anthem?
Let's do it.
Okay. Here's Leia singing Life Day anthem.
A day of joy we all can share. Together joyously. A day that takes us through the darkness.
It's going to be better at 2x, like a lot of the listeners hear the podcast at.
A day that makes us want to celebrate the night.
Yes.
My favorite thing about this is R2-D2, no face, but he just looks so over it. He looks over at C-3PO like, can you freaking believe what is going on right now?
Yeah, I'm just here for the check, R2-D2.
Yeah, uncredited R2-D2.
There's one point where C-3PO is also like, and really, R2-D2 and I both feel the same way. We are remorseful that we are but droids that we cannot experience the emotions of Life Day right now because it must be so overwhelming.
Just washes over you in your snuggie.
Frankly, we don't get it. We don't really know what's going on here. No. But it seems like you guys do.
I don't know. The look on Han Solo's face also may not indicate that he
the same look as in the cartoon.
Yeah. He's like just closing his eyes and like, get this over with. Get this over with.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I've got a bad feeling
about this. It's no moon.
Said everyone. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, and then we go from then the big Life Day celebration, and then we see like a montage of Star Wars.
Mhm.
Because we're gonna pad it out with a montage,
Mhm.
and then we come and close it out with dinner at Chewbacca's house.
The family reunited, saying a prayer over their food that was made
Yeah.
on the Food Network. Yeah.
They did it.
Oh man.
I love that this whole thing means so little to the Star Wars the people who own Star Wars, I guess Disney now.
Yeah.
That they haven't even copyright struck in this 5-year-old clip that's on YouTube where you can watch the whole movie. It's like they're like not even embarrassed by it anymore, and obviously they can't monetize it. They just nothing it.
Yeah, well, they made their own Lego holiday special that had some of the themes from this, and that was that.
Maybe they're hoping to wash it out on those Google searches that now the Lego one will supersede.
Yeah, I think they feel like it makes George Lucas look bad.
Yeah,
They
maybe they should buy into a little bit. Like they should release a DVD with commentary. I think that would be funny.
Nobody will give commentary.
No,
like all of the principals like disavow like anything having to do with it.
Yeah. Rob, I think there's only one more thing that's left to be done, and it's by Liana.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, well, so before we close things out, let me just bring out my giant Star Wars Christmas tree, complete with lights. Because that was I drew this picture. It's a Star Wars Christmas tree. There's various elements of Star Wars, complete with lights. That was part of the idea. We are the city.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I believe it's supposed to be greeted with a standing ovation.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
Everyone
thank you.
stand at home.
I'm gonna stand as well. Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful. Rob, do we trust the RHAP bot to give us another podcast idea after this?
I'm not sure. This was good. This was good.
But what if it was the other one that was also ironically Liana centric, which was her stuck in the tower? Like what would we have done?
She hates
there?
tower-based shenanigans.
Yeah.
All tower-based shenanigans.
After what I saw happen to that stormtrooper, I can understand why Liana may not care for tower-based shenanigans.
See?
Yeah.
Logic. Daniel Schiffman also put together a little thing that put some other proclamations together for me for We Are the City that has sort of a second tagline. Some of them make sense, like we are the city, the only ones that matter. And then there's a bunch of other random ones like we are the city, we are the Laffy Taffy City, or we are the city, bring the fawns. Which I'm not entirely sure.
Is there an RHAP bot? Is there an RHAP bot doing this?
This is this is from the RHAP bot. I don't think this is like a private URL. So maybe we can put that out there afterwards, but sort of a sequel to the We Are the City.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was wonderful. And Akiva, did you make it through the Star Wars holiday special? You talked about Star Wars. How are you feeling?
I know I feel great. I had a good time with you guys. I'm happy that we had Liana here also, so there was a second person who knew the names of the characters and important things like that. This was fine. Now I realize that I'm probably gonna have to watch Star Wars at some point with my kids. That I've avoided for my whole life.
Your kids? You should, Akiva. That you're absentee dad like Chewbacca. You should not avoid your.
Busy watching all 5 Home Alones over and over again. It's the only thing they want to watch. Now at least I know the characters' names. I know that Chewbacca does not have a family in any of the movies. I can tell them that fun fact. And I'm ready. I'm a Star Wars buff now.
Have you thought about asking Mara? What if your dad just moved in with you?
She likes my dad. It would be like he's pretty low maintenance.
He doesn't have a porn chair, right?
No, he's a rabbi. He's pretty clean cut.
Pretty straight.
Yeah.
But did Star Wars invent something here in 1978?
The VR porn.
Yeah.
I think so.
Like they were, early adopters.
Because I guess, 1978? Is this the first instance that we see of
I think it seems like a first. It seems like if anything comes out of this movie, it's like Boba Fett, Chewbacca's planet, and the invention of an entire industry.
Trailblazers.
Yeah. So incredible. All right. Keep anything else we want to do in here in the Star Wars holiday special?
No,
wrap-up?
I'm excited for the mailbag.
Okay. All right.
So wait, hold on. So I have one thing. I'm not entirely sure where we should put it, but it's from the RHAP and Will from America that have partnered together to
collaborated on something.
Collaborated to create a gift for you, Rob and Akiva.
Wow.
And so there's an audio clip that Rob could play. I think it is probably more appropriate to wrap up and close out this holiday special as it is holiday themed.
A Life Day treat from Will from America and the RHAP bot.
Yes.
On the first day of RHAP, my true love sent to me a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the second day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the third day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the fourth day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the fifth day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 6th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 7th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl, 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 8th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 8 weeks of passion-filled walks with RHAP characters, 7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl, 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 9th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 9 hard truths, 8 weeks of passion-filled walks with RHAP characters, 7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl, 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 10th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 10 amazing reasons why you should marry Akiva, 9 hard truths, 8 weeks of passion-filled walks with RHAP characters, 7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl, 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 11th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 11 things, 10 amazing reasons why you should marry Akiva, 9 hard truths, 8 weeks of passion-filled walks with RHAP characters, 7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl, 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats, a collection of ideas for a wheel. On the 12th day of RHAP, my true love sent to me 12 reasons why this podcast is the best, 11 things, 10 amazing reasons why you should marry Akiva, 9 hard truths, 8 weeks of passion-filled walks with RHAP characters, 7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl, 6 perfect strangers, 5 cheap shirts at Chester. 4 messages with love and light, 3 really nice mailbags, 2 taffy treats,
and a collection of ideas for the wheel. Not a second too long.
So many questions. Thank you,
So
Will.
the RHAP wrote that song.
Thank you, Will. The RHAP wrote the song.
Yeah. So Daniel Schiffman put together a version of the bot that would create these lyrics for each of, on the first day of RHAPmas, so on and so forth. And so then we had help from Dr. Amanda Rabinowitz, Jason Curtis Rivera, Jess Sterling, and DJ LaBelle Klein, and all put together these different, sort of the best lyrics that we got. And then Daniel Schiffman and Will from America collaborated to put together the song. So Will did all the music, I think, and then Daniel Schiffman did the robo voice.
12 reasons why this podcast is the best. 11 things.
11 things. Very
Just
simple.
11 things. Yes.
10 reasons why you should marry
And
Akiva.
amazing reasons why you should
That's
marry
a lot
Akiva.
of reasons.
Yeah,
Amazing
I think
reasons.
I don't know. That might be 10 more than some other people have.
Yeah, 9 hard truths.
I love that. Hard truths.
8
Gotta get some
weeks
hard
of
truths.
passion-filled walks with RHAP characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it can't say RHAP, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
can't RHAP.
7 dirty jokes from the Goldfish Bowl. We don't even keep jokes.
Yeah, not normally how we do it, but that's not a bad idea. Dirty joke fish bowl.
6 perfect strangers. Okay. I think there was only 2. 5 cheap shots at Chester. Okay.
Personal favorite.
4 messages with love and light. Now, have we got any messages with love and light on RHAP?
No, never had Caitlin.
I don't know.
Okay.
But RHAP got you 4.
Caitlin crossover. 3 really nice mailbags. Okay. 2 taffy treats and a collection of ideas for a wheel. And it dawned on me about 9 things into the song. We just Star Wars holiday special to the listeners with like a 3.5 minute musical number in the middle of the show.
In the middle.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Can we put it?
Yeah.
We are on video. Can we put that at the end?
Yes. Imagine Lumpy just sitting there watching the. Yeah, put him in there doing that. Yes. Okay. All right. Maybe. Okay. That for TikTok Nicole, here's let's get Lumpy watching the circus, but instead that this is the soundtrack.
Beautiful.
All right. We are ready for the mailbag. Liana, are you staying for the mailbag?
I'm staying for the mailbag.
All right. Holiday mailbag coming up with Liana Boraas. We are going to be talking about Akiva jam-packed mailbag.
If you want it to be a medium-packed mailbag.
Medium-packed mailbag coming up right after this. And if you are watching the YouTube video, we're going to cut the video here. If you want the mailbag, you're going to have to subscribe to Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast. Go to robaswebsite.com/RHAP for that. We'll see you on the other side of this short break.